Longtime Columbia Basin baseball coach Pete Doumit retired after 45 years of coaching. Pete had many memories, one of which being the 1999 Major League Draft, where 3 players from Moses Lake High School were selected in the top 2 rounds. The Columbia Basin Herald caught up with Pete, BJ Garby, Jason Cooper, and Ryan Doumit to talk about that time and what impact Pete had on local baseball.
You are coming in on your final twin bill. Just kind of tell me about the decision.
The decision to hang it up?
Yeah, I mean, 43 years is a
45 years.
45, hey, excuse me, I didn't mean to cut you short.
I'm 67 years old, and I started coaching in the spring of 1972. And I've kind of, this last week or so, I've just been kind of thinking through all this coaching stuff, and a rough estimate is, with all the teams, different types of teams that I've coached, whether it's basketball or baseball or whatever, summer teams and school teams, I've coached over 100 teams.
Whoa.
100 teams.
Yeah, that's you deserve a break. Any idea on a career baseball record, or does that really?
Not at all. Not at all.
What's been, special about, Ryan said something I thought was kind of interesting. He said, if you played baseball in, the last 30 years in the Columbia Basin, chances are you've been coached by Pete. And, that's pretty close to reality. Just in general, what's it been like? What's the run been like?
Well, it's all been about relationships.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, it's all been about relationships, and quite frankly, coaching. I've always felt coaching and teaching has been more of a ministry for me, more of a vocation for me than anything else. You asked me about my overall record. I have no idea.
Doesn't matter.
I really don't know. What matters to me are the relationships and how my players over the years maybe have responded and the kind of people they become, and if I've had anything to do with shaping them and developing them to become, good citizens and so forth, then those are my wins. Those are the ones I count. And, occasionally I'm blessed with a phone call or a note or something like that, or I run across one of the former students that I've had, and they are kind enough to say a nice word about, what it was like playing for me, and that is most appreciated, and it just kind of gives credence to the decision I made a long time ago to become a teacher and coach.
Right. How many years did you teach? What do you teach? What did you teach? What do you teach?
I was primarily a high school teacher, social studies, but I had my education background has been from pre-kindergarten to college, because I was a principal of a all kindergarten pre-K building. I taught 5th and 6th grade. I taught 8th grade kids. I've taught high school, and I taught out here at the college. So I've been pre-K to college as far as the breadth of my education career. So not too many stones unturned as far as years and ages of kids that I haven't coached. And then with the coaching, it's the same thing. I coached t-ball, and I coached, minor leagues and then the majors in little leagues and Cal Ripken and then Babe Ruth and then Legion ball and semi-pro ball, and so it's the same type of thing. It's been t-ball to college basically. So
yeah, you don't have quite the attitude of the t-ball just yet, but yeah, I got you. You talk about the people. You know, and isn't as much your philosophy as much about baseball as it is about doing the right thing and working hard?
I think if you were to ask most of the people who played for me, hopefully they will remember what my whole philosophy was, and that's games won or lost are soon forgotten, but the kind of person or the kind of team you are never will be.
Right.
And they've heard that. They've got cards about that. They've got notebooks that had that in it, and so, you know, it's more of a focus of, you know what, if we build the person right, the athletics and the scoreboard and all that will take care of itself.
Right, and you don't have to tear down the kid to build the man, huh?
No, you don't. And that's a real good one, because we've used that too, is that you don't build a man or build an adult by tearing down a kid or boy. So.
Right, you know, I mean, and I was asking Ryan, I said, you know, because you see some superstar dads where they're like Todd Marinovich's father, or, you know, they're just a drill sergeant, or my kid is God, you know, whatever. Or my dad didn't know how to coach me, so he used to yell at me because he didn't know how to yell at other people's kids. So,
yeah.
There's a fine line, but is, you know, coaching, what, I don't know, how many years were you at the high school?
Oh, boy. Well, I'm a retread in a couple of places, Rodney. I came over here to Moses Lake to coach Big Bend baseball. I took the job in 1979. And so, the coach, yeah, I took it in the fall of 79. So 80, 81, and 82 were the first years that I was in the Basin, and I coached at Big Bend.
Oh, okay.
Then I went to the high school, and I was at the high school. I was the head baseball coach at the high school for, 3 years, I think 3 years. And then I was a principal, and then I was the head coach again in the 90s, 95 to 99.
Okay, at the high school, the first time around, what year?
3 years.
What year?
3 years. 82 to 85.
Okay.
83 to 86. Let's see, what was it? 81, 82. I was at Big Bend 80, 81, and 82.
Okay.
So 83, 84, and 85, I was at the high school.
Okay.
And I was the head baseball coach, and I was the head girls basketball coach for the first 2 years there,
all right.
83 and 84. And then I was the principal for 4 years. And
high school?
No, I was the principal at Midway Elementary. I opened an all-kindergarten building there. I was the first principal of an all-kindergarten building there when it was all kindergarten.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Then what about?
I went back into the classroom. Actually, I went to Wenatchee for a year. I was supposed to have been a Wenatchee high school baseball coach, but politics kind of got in the way, and so I ended up teaching up there for a year, and I coached freshman basketball at Wenatchee High School, and I volunteered as a volunteer baseball coach at Eastmont with two of my buddies over there, Jim Hanna and Dan White.
Right.
Dan White and Jim Hanna were good friends of mine. They were at WSU when I was at WSU, and I had gotten to know those guys pretty well and stuff, and so I coached with them. Then I came back to Moses Lake the following year, and I was a Sikh team coach for, I believe, 3 years, and then I got the head job again in 95.
Okay, so 95 you were back to being the skipper?
95 to 99, I was the head coach again.
Okay, so that would have been the team.
Ryan's last year was 99, Ryan and BJ and those guys.
Yep.
And so I stepped out there because my son Peter is a year older than Ryan, and he was playing college baseball, and Ryan was starting a professional career. And I just felt like I couldn't serve two masters. I couldn't watch my boys play like I needed to as a father and try to do justice to being a head baseball coach at the high school. So I resigned my position as the head baseball coach there. I came back and was the freshman baseball coach from 2000 what is it? I think 2003 to 2013 or whatever. And then I came out 2003 to 2013, 12 or 13. And then I came back out here. So this is 17, 16, 15, 14, 13. So, yeah, 2012. I coached the freshman coach from 2003 to 2012, and then I've been out here for 5 years. So all told at the high school, let's see, you got, 10 years, I think, as a freshman coach, and let's see, 8 years as a head coach, and about 3 other years as a C-team coach. So you added up, I don't know, 8, 11, probably about 21 years.
Yep. And then this is your second stint at Big Bend, right?
Second stint at Big Bend. I was here 3 years in the early 80s, 81, 82, and now since 2013 to 2017.
You know, you've seen a lot of ball. Let's just kind of talk about that 1999-98 high school team that you had with the 3 kids, BJ, Jason, and your boy. What?
I had now you got to understand. I had two really good years. I had 98 and 99.
Right.
Because those 3 kids were juniors, and then the senior class, my son Peter, and we had I think 3 or 4 seniors was all on that team, but they were pretty instrumental in how well we did in 1998. Also, we won our league championship in 98 and 99, but it was the year. It was the summer of 1990. What was it? 98.
Right.
Summer of 1998. That those guys won the World Series.
Right.
Yeah. So those seniors, you know, my son Peter was involved with that. Steph Johnson was another important person in that capacity. So we had a couple of kids from there, and then we had some surrounding area kids on that Columbia Basin team too. But 2 years before that, when Ryan and BJ and Jason were 16, they took third in the World Series the year before. Actually, that was 97. But they took third in the World Series down in Arkansas.
Wow. Yeah, I was just doing a little research on that.
Yeah, we had a 5th place team in 96. A 3rd place team in 97, and I told these guys, I said, here's the new math, 5 plus 3 equals 1. And that's what happened. They took the guys that were on that 5th place team and the guys that finished on a 3rd place team, and then they won the national championship, the World Series, the next year in 98. So that was our new math, 5 plus 3 equals 1.
Well, that's what I grew up with, the new math, and now I have to use my fingers and toes. Calculator. And how fun is that? You know, just the kind of what do you? Let's just do this. When you were 99, your high school team was ranked what? 3rd in the country, 5th in the country.
5th. I think we finished 5th in the country. We finished the final poll. I think we were 5th in the country.
Okay, is that
we may have been higher than that. We may have been higher than that. I'm not sure.
Sure.
But I do know that we were. I think we finished 5th in the country that year.
Now, is that just any level? 4A, 3A, 5A, 6A?
That was just the national high school poll.
Okay, so that included every baseball team.
Yeah, pretty much every baseball team.
Okay, so I mean, you were being considered along with San Jose and Orlando, Florida, and whatever.
That's right. That's
pretty special. What does that say about Moses Lake baseball? I mean,
Moses Lake baseball. I think Moses Lake, Columbia Basin baseball.
Right.
Let's put it that way to make it a little bit bigger. You know, with the influence of guys like Dave Johnson and Marty O'Brien and the Freda, Jerry Tout here in Moses Lake before I came. I think Ed Secor was involved with building baseball here in Moses Lake too. there have been some really good baseball people here, that very committed people. There were some old time guys like Bob Knapp, who was a former major league player. Right. His son Rory Knapp is a dentist in town now, but Bob Knapp was again very very involved with wanting to develop youth baseball. Jerry Heilig was another one whose boys were very good players, and Jerry was involved as an official and so forth. Bill Karwowski, before he left, had been a principal here, and his boy had been a real good player here. So there had been some really good baseball people, and I'm sure I'm missing some other people that I probably should be giving credit to that I can't remember right now, but I know like Bob Knapp was a KNAPP. He was a really really important influence in baseball, and just I'll tell you another couple of people who have been absolutely very instrumental. They've been out of it for quite a while, but Rick and Kathy Koba were involved, and Rick was a long-time assistant baseball coach for me in high school and in the summer leagues. He helped raise my kids on the baseball field. I can't say enough about Rick Koba and what he's done for the youth, and youth sports in Moses Lake, particularly baseball. He's an unsung guy. He's very low key. He doesn't like attention and so forth, but as far as I was concerned, he was an absolutely integral part of the success that Moses Lake baseball had, at least in the time that I was the head coach.
Right, outstanding. You know what? I mean, it does. It takes all kinds. It takes everybody. It takes baseball people, not just school teachers that,
Oh, absolutely.
What can you tell me just about that 99 season? Or let's just talk about the 99 draft. To see 3 kids come out of Moses Lake, a community of 12,000 at that time. What's some of your thoughts on that?
Well, it was, Rodney, how special is that? I mean, you think about it and you put it in terms. I remember flying into Chicago for a baseball clinic in the year 2000, and I remember flying in and that vast city, and I was thinking to myself, this place, I don't know how many hundreds of high schools there are just in this city alone or in the vicinity of Chicago, and yet here's little old Moses Lake, who had 3 guys drafted in the top 62 picks, 62, 63 picks in all of the draft, which included international draft.
Right.
And it's mind-boggling. It never happened to a high school team up to that point, and to my knowledge, no high school team has ever had 3 guys. They may have had 3 guys drafted off their high school team, but none as high as our 3 kids have been drafted. So, as far as being blessed, my goodness, Coach is lucky to have 1 team or 2 teams in his career that are just, really good teams. And I was blessed with the opportunity to have 3 kids, and actually a 4th kid, Brian Skog, was drafted out of college from that team also. He missed most of his senior year because he had a separated shoulder, but he would have been our starting shortstop for us that year. He was our starting shortstop as a junior, but he dislocated his shoulder in football both as a junior and senior, and was unable.
What's his last name? Ryan what?
Brian Skog, S-K-A-U-G.
Yeah, gotcha.
So we had 4 kids off of that high school team that played professionally, and that's again from a town our size, that is a pretty special thing. A great deal of that comes from the strength of those families, that because they were very cohesive, and they worked very, very hard And they were not just in it for their kids. These people were the parents that we had in those 2 years, 98 and 99. The parents that we had were just so very supportive of every kid. And it was like one, I know this is cliche sounding, but it was like a family. And parents didn't care if it was their kid or somebody else's kid. If somebody stepped out of line, they got him back in the line. If somebody needed a little extra loving, they got him, and they got it, and it didn't matter where it came from. It was just such a cohesive, wonderful set of parents that, again,
so superstar dads weren't telling you how to coach.
You're always going to have some who might disagree with you or wonder why you do things, and that's okay. I never did mind that. No, I know.
Yeah, you're a superstar.
You're right. You're right. But you know what? I think by that time, Rod, I had a kind of established not only a relationship, but maybe a reputation of, hey, maybe the guy knows what he's doing, and yeah, I might not agree. I might not necessarily agree with what he, that particular, he called in that particular situation, but the biggest thing that I was honored about was that they trusted me with their kids. They trusted me with their sons and for the well-being of their sons, and that a coach can't ask for anything more than that.
That's
when he gets the trust of parents, and they say, I feel good about entrusting my son in your hands. That to me is pretty much the pinnacle of a good coaching parent relationship.
Perfect. Now, what, I didn't realize until I just got done talking with Ryan, you had scouts showing up, not only at practice, at games, maybe in school. Well, how does a guy corral that, and not have your superstar kid get bamboozled by somebody waving 75,000 K in front of them and saying, okay.
That's a great question. And again, I think it comes back to the parents. The parents were able to, to kind of keep level heads with kids. And I'll tell you what else, and this is honest God's truth. What kept the lid on everything were the other kids in our team, because these kids all grew up together.
Yep.
In a small community, if they weren't in the same school, at least in the summer or in the sports programs coming up, they played on a lot of the same teams. And all these kids pretty much on that team had played all-stars, and I was their all-star coach. So These guys pretty much knew what to expect by the time they got to high school. And they knew each other so well that, the other kids understood that they were playing with some kids that were pretty gifted, but they were still their buddies, and they were still their peers. And if somebody started to get a big head, somebody else would call them on it. And that was the thing that was really kind of fun to watch, was that their teammates were not in awe of these guys. Hey, they're just my buddies, and they happen to be pretty good baseball players. But hey, if one of them started to get big ahead, they'd get called on it. They'd get dog piled on.
That takes a good man to do that, or a good kid for sure. Because how many times do you see a guy go all the way through his baseball career and nobody ever says no? And then all of a sudden they're a major leaguer with millions and they're a jerk, or even worse, they're still the same hooligan they always were.
I think you don't have the benefit of the perspective of knowing what those three kids were like as high school kids, but I do, and I will tell you this, that those three kids are as well grounded today as they were back then, and they have not changed. They are still the same people that they were back then. There's a humility about them. They understood that they were gifted, but there was a humility about those kids that was beyond their years back then. They didn't want to be, they just you know, they're the same kids today as they were back then, and that's the thing I think I'm most proud of them. And again, I think I give all the credit for that to their parents, because they raised them very well.
Right. And if just for your own information, I was talking to BJ a little bit about this story, and he said, you know, I think the Pete Doumit story is a lot more important than mine. This is a kid that was drafted ahead of Barry Zito, saying that you're more. So I think that just kind of reimburses what you're saying, and it's a beautiful thing, because, you know, are we supposed to feel sorry for Aaron Hernandez, who killed somebody and ended up in prison? You know, you know, I'm sorry, but I just don't. You know, or you probably saw that special on Doc Gooden and Darryl Strawberry. Greatest players of all time, and they just pissed it all away, you know. I mean, it's kind of scary. But what can you tell me? Let's start with going through those three kids. Let's start with Jason Cooper. What do you remember about him?
Jason Cooper was a highly intelligent young man who, if he had a fault, his fault was he overanalyzed. He was such a bright kid that he had a tendency to paralysis by analysis for him at times.
Yep.
But you know, when he was a senior in high school, a highly confident hitter. And I remember telling scouts, they would call about me. I said, there are not 5 kids in America his age who have more power than Jason Cooper. And I would go to my grave saying that, and I would go to my grave saying that B.J. Garvey was the best high school player I've ever coached, and perhaps ever saw as a high school player. He was a 5'2" kid that just and a tremendous leader. Hey, the Gatorade Player of the Year. I mean, he had the accolades he got were deserved. But he remained a very kind of a quiet leader. He didn't say a whole lot. He just went out and performed and led with his just by who he was. But he was also, when something did need to be said, he was not afraid to say it. And I think he was, like I said, best high school player I ever coached. Jason, back to Jason, highly educated, highly intelligent kid, great power, great vision. He had 2015 vision, so he saw the ball very, very well. And my goodness, he hit some balls as a senior in high school that I have not seen big grown men hit as far.
Right.
He was just a tremendous, just fun to watch. I mean, Jason, all 3 of those kids, when they went to the plate, they just oozed confidence, and you just knew, you know, you just came to expect that something big was going to happen every single time they came. I mean, it was when they made an out, it was kind of a story. You know, it was the thing. When they made an out, it was kind of a story. So. That's Jason. Very, very intelligent kid, a very personable kid, very outgoing, good teammate, hard worker, pushed those other guys. That's the thing about those kids. Those 3 kids were the first one. and they just pushed each other. They were good friends, but they were highly, highly competitive, and they pushed each other, and they just wouldn't take any quarter for the effort from.
How much time do you think just those three spent in the cage before practice, after games on Sunday?
Well, that's a great question, because I think, BJ had a lot of, he was a quarterback for the football team, so he was expected to spend a lot of time, prepping for that in the summer and so forth too. Baseball was, I think, his first love, and so he spent a lot of time. But those guys would hit all the time, and they would call each other up and say, "Hey, let's go hit." And maybe BJ couldn't go, or one of them couldn't go, but the other two would, or they would just go on their own. They'd go down and take a hit and hit. But in high school, they all had, as seniors, they all had a PE class the last period of the school day, so they would go down to the field early for that whole last hour of the school day, and they would hit.
Yeah.
They would hit, and then we'd come down for practice, and then we would have a regular practice, and then those guys would just like to hang around and hit it just because they loved it. It wasn't they had to. It was that they just enjoyed hitting. And so they would say, especially after they had their license and so forth, I didn't have to wait for them. They'd stay for another hour or so if they wanted to again. And then find their way home. But that was weekend. They would call each other up maybe on a Sunday afternoon or whatever, and if they, could go and get a little bit, they would.
Right.
But they were pretty well-rounded kids too. They liked to fish, they liked to do things, so they hung around doing a lot of different things together.
Tell me about your kids, Ryan. Switch hitting catchers. You can count how many of those on one hand?
Not too many of them.
Just tell me about him.
Brian was an undersized kid, he was 5'11", 165, maybe 170 pounds as a senior. And, a lot of people just, didn't know about it. And the blessing was that BJ and Jason brought the fish, brought the scouts to Moses Lake, and then they discovered Ryan. That's how that happened. That's the truth. Those two guys were able to go to area code games and so forth.
Think about it. You've got one kid from your team with a World Series ring. One kid from your team played 10 years in the major. The other kid was drafted number 5. What does that feel like? I mean, just...
Well, like I said, if a coach has one major thing in his career that he can highlight and look back on, then he's a lucky coach. And I look at that year and the success that 3 kids had, and the 4th kid had, to have a chance to play, and the closeness of that group still today, that to me is kind of beyond what a coach can ever expect to have in a coaching career. And mine's lasted 45 years. I've been blessed to be healthy enough to do that and to maintain a passion for, relationships and coaching and so forth. But to have a couple of highlight years, I look back, that certainly has to be the crowning year, but I've had some really wonderful opportunities throughout my career in coaching some awfully good teams and awfully wonderful kids over 45 years that I've truly been blessed.
The thing that's most amazing, Pete, is the men they became.
I agree.
The men they became. You're not visiting them in prison. They didn't do steroids to get to where they got. They're just Basin kids that done good.
Yeah. Well, that's the Basin. I mean, the Basin grows good crops. And it's not just corn and wheat and potatoes. we drove big people here too, and that's that's the basis of everything. Is you're only going to be as good as the seed that you have and the people that you have and so forth, and that's why we were successful. It was kind of like stars aligning or whatever, and we just happened to have 3, 4, 5. A good group of kids, 3 that were pretty exceptional, 4 that were pretty exceptional, but they were surrounded by some awfully good kids who kept them grounded and pushed them, and this wasn't the king in the court where only, Eddie Fair goes out and pitches and has 3 guys in the field. This was, we still had to field 9 guys.
Exactly.
Those were 3, and we had 3 or maybe 4 when Stott was healthy, but we had a good complement of other kids, the Ryan Handleys and the Sheetwoods and the Hansons and kids like that, the Hill Boys. We had a bunch of kids that were just flat out wonderful. Eric Garza. We had kids that just flat out were wonderful, wonderful people to help with everything. So it was a great complimentary bunch that just happened to fit well together, and that's why we were successful.
Well, I'm sorry.
I did in the parents too. It was just such a big, like I said, it was a big family type of deal where, everybody pulled their weight and looked for things to do, and were proud of each other's kids and their own, and it was hard to explain to people because they thought it was too good to be true.
Yeah.
And but it was good. It was good. I did not have any problems. I did not have that year, especially in '99. I did not have any jerk problems. I didn't have any ego problems with kids. I didn't have any parent problems. It was as smooth a year as I've ever had, and it was what an exhilarating ride, because it was, hey, 5th in the country, and we didn't win the state championship, and that might have been a disappointment, but baseball's that way. Sometimes the best team doesn't win, and
look at all those Yankee teams that didn't get there.
Sure.
And that's what makes it fun, don't you think? When you see whatever, I hate to root for the Cubs, but they finally break through. Or the Boston Red Sox finally break through, or you see. Whatever. What are the odds that any of these teams that just finally you just keep working on it? But
that's right.
I think that the thing that I'm going to try and focus on is what you said. There's good people here. So you got Ryan comes back. He can live anywhere in the country. He's back in Moses Lake doing some work for you. Looks like is Jameson going to be your replacement, you reckon?
Yes, Jameson has already been named as the head baseball coach next year.
And so your boy doesn't say, hey, listen, I'm a big league player, I need to be in the skipper's chair, blah, blah, blah. So, and then you look at BJ, okay, maybe it didn't work out like he wanted, but I'm not sure he really liked once it got to be a business anyway. He's a successful CEO for an up-and-coming brewery. You've got, Cooper, working in the Cubs organization, got a World Series ring.
And Barry's still very much tied to here. Jason comes back to Moses Lake as often as he can.
Really?
And, yes, he does. He comes back to Moses Lake as often as he can because of his friendships with these other guys. That's what brings him. That's why I say it's such a special thing, is that those guys are in contact. I know Ryan and Jason are in contact very often. I'm pretty sure BJ is in contact with Jason too, and Jason and his wife is from Moses Lake too. So anytime he has a chance to get back to Moses Lake, he gets back probably 3 or 4 times a year, just to make sure that he maintains his relationship and his connection.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, I thought it was funny. BJ gave me everybody's number, and they still got the 509 cell phones. Still got 509. It's not some phone from Tokyo or wherever the hell else they're down.
Yeah.
All right, Pete, good talking to you.